Welcome to the Wokest War in Ohio, where we have the Wokest discourse. Today, I want to talk about some of the implications of ICE in Minneapolis. Now, I know people are busy with their regular lives. Myself, I've been sick, so I haven't been hanging on news, and that shit is depressing. Nobody wants to watch that. It's going to put you in a bad mood for the rest of the day. But we all have to recognize what is happening in Minneapolis is some extreme level Nazi shit. Like at the extreme level of the Nazis when they were rounding up Jews. This is really, really, really happening. And you can't ignore it. And just because we're not seeing it in Warren right now doesn't mean it's not real. Because Congress just approved funding to hire 10,000 more ICE agents. Okay. Now, they're in Minneapolis right now, right? In LA to some extent, Chicago to some extent, and Columbus to some extent. At a certain point, it's going to be saturated. Like, they're going to have rounded all the people up in Minneapolis. It's going to get harder and harder to find people. They're going to pick a new city. And after that, they're going to pick another city. And after that, they're going to pick another city. So this is just going to be a rotating hell. I want to say something like, oh, we have to stop this now. But there isn't really much chance of that happening when 7 Democrats just voted to increase ICE's funding. Okay, we're not going to vote our way out of this. There's not going to be some political candidate that's going to save us. That's not what's going to happen. I think that people need to be taking practical efforts to prepare for this. I think in our churches, we need to be looking at what they're doing in Minneapolis to serve the immigrant population. We need to be coming up with plans to be able to get people food, like groceries and medicine. We need to be taking practical considerations. And it wouldn't hurt to stock up on your pantry with some pantry food, because when it hits here, you're not going to want to go outside. Like, I don't know if that's something everybody realizes. What I've been hearing out of Minneapolis is that, I mean, you've seen these videos where they smash the windows out of the car. Apparently, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, there are just cars. Like, when you drive, there's just abandoned cars everywhere, like a zombie movie. If that doesn't give you some idea of the scale of this, I just need everybody to take this seriously. And I know from conversations with relatives that a lot of people really aren't, and they think this is fine. And they think because they're white, it's not going to matter, which on one hand, you're like, fuck them because they're white supremacists. But we need white people to get with the program, because this is how the Germans were able to do it to the Jews, is they were able to get the non-Jews on board. And the non-Jews were like, yeah, get those Jews. What is happening in this country right now is happening because white people are like, get those immigrants. And that's the number one thing that has to change before we find our way out of this. We need to come together and see the humanity in each other. Thanks for listening.